All right, guys, I have a question here from another magnanimous man. He wishes to remain anonymous, but what he says is, here we are at date number 35. Well, congratulations on being able to count 35 dates. I would have lost track a long time ago. Things are settling into, okay, so 35, that tells me if you've been together or you've been going on a date once a week, that's what, over 6 months, right? More like 9 months, but then usually you go on like a couple dates a week. So you've probably been with her 3 to 6 months. Okay, so now I would expect that you're in the way far into the in love phase and she wants to know where this is going. In other words, if it's still going well with her, is she looking towards it going further? You know, is she going to talk about getting engaged? That should be coming up pretty soon. So things are settling into normal. Normal being a date might be washing the cars or eating dinner afterwards, just as much as it might be a great concert, walk on a beach, and an intimate evening. It's also at this point that doubts are creeping in. Am I really good enough? Is she good to be true? What if it doesn't last? Etc., etc. So how do you get beyond this phase without wrecking the whole thing? All right, well, that makes a lot of sense, right? How do I get past that phase without wrecking the whole thing? So in other words, if you've been in the coaching program, then you know that there's a simple formula, just follow it over and over and over and over again. But which is the plan, right? But what you're asking is, when your psychology starts to kick in and others starts getting heavier and you're starting to like her more and more, and you're not sure about what to do at this point. So the thing is that she's a reflection of your unconscious thinking. In other words, the women that we attract and the way that they behave towards us is a reflection of our unconscious thinking. So think about what your unconscious thinking might be and simply try to bring some lightness or some awareness, some consciousness to it. So one of the things about being in a relationship is it allows us to dig deep in and start to solve those things within us that we didn't feel safe to deal with before. So if you're in a really good relationship, stuff's going to come up that you've never encountered before. And this is a great opportunity to actually work through these things in a safe environment. So if you're in a good relationship and it's a very healthy relationship, then it's going to give you that safety and that safety net and that, there's some other words I'm trying to think of to say to that, but it's a safety net to where you can actually work through and resolve those things within your within your consciousness, right? Within your psyche to get better and to grow. And so that's one of the things when you get into a relationship, things that will come up within you that you didn't know were there. For instance, I apparently had a fear of being cheated on that did not manifest itself until I got with somebody I really cared about and I really actually cared if that kind of thing would happen. Of course, I got blindsided in the past by such things happening to me. But see, these things don't pop up until you are in a safe place to deal with it. So for me, when I had that fear, it was a safe place to deal with it because obviously that's not going to happen. And I also know what to do in case that thing does happen. I've been doing this stuff for quite a while. So he says this is where the doubts are creeping in, right? So am I good enough? Is she good to be true? And all that stuff. So go back to the basics. Go back to your compelling vision. Go back to uniquely you and double down on the things that make you happy and make you full of love in yourself. One good book that I would recommend is this one right here. It's called Learning to Love Yourself. It's by Gay Hendricks. This guy and his series of books, he's got another one called Conscious Loving. I've obviously taken it off my shelf here, but anyways, that's a really good one too. So if you read this book, it'll start talking about the things that you need to be doing to love yourself. So what you're doing, are you good enough means you're not intrinsically worthwhile. And so if you're trying to do a lot of tactics and stuff, which is a trap that you can fall into by doing all these tactics and stuff to get her to like you. But at the same time, when you do too many of these tactics, you're not intrinsically enough as you are. And so one thing that can help is talk to her about this. Say, hey, if you can have that conversation where you're describing the things about each other that you like, that can help. The other thing is just look at that. What are the areas specifically that you don't feel like you're good enough? And you're going to have to address those and tackle those. Catalog them, journal them out, and just start hitting them each one. If you're meditating, which you ought to be meditating, that'll help a lot of this. You can go into that alpha brainwave state and really start troubleshooting what's going on. Of course, the letting go technique is outlined in this one here, David Hawkins' Letting Go, and also in this book as well. Those will help you out as well with that kind of thing. Again, relationships are not easy. The dating portion of a relationship is the easiest. It really is the easiest. And guys in a group think, oh, well, it's this huge barrier that to be able to date beautiful women, all the women that I want and all that kind of stuff. But really, that's just the beginning, because after that, you're going to have to start dealing with more of your shadows, more of the things within you that aren't very good. And you're going to have to really delve into your shadow self and really work on that. So the whole point of a relationship, though, is to have that supportive person help you through it. And then you do the same thing with her. And so use that relationship, use that openness, that unapologetic expression. Just because you have an insecurity doesn't mean you have to be afraid of it. It doesn't mean you have to hide it from her. But what you don't want to do is have her be the solution to your insecurity. In other words, if you're afraid of getting cheated on, then you're not going to go to her and accuse her of things, right? You're not going to go to her and say, hey, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? Or if you feel like she's not paying attention to you enough, you don't go, hey, why are you not paying attention? You don't want to be accusatory, but you want to express to her and say, I feel this way, and I'm curious as to what's going on here. You want to do it in a non-accusatory manner. You want to do it in such a way that she doesn't feel restricted or fearful or defensive in the way that she talks to you about it, right? Because if you're accusing somebody of doing something and they're obviously not doing something like that, then all of a sudden you're creating a barrier and you're going to push them away. And you're going to create more what you're afraid of, wrecking the whole thing. But if you use that as an opportunity to really open up and then allow her to be with you, and you don't want to do it in such a way like, oh, I just feel so bad because all this stuff's going. No, you want to just say, I'm curious. Take the strong approach and say, I'm curious as to how to deal with this. And I want to let you know that this is what's going on with me. And just what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? And let her explain it to you. But don't turn it into a pattern of this happening over and over and over again and explaining it to her and turning her into your psychologist, because that's a bad thing. If you're having this and it keeps coming up and she does know about it and she does work with you a little bit, maybe she modifies her behavior a little bit, or maybe it's just a mismatch of love languages and you're just not getting your love tank filled in the way that you really desire. So if you haven't read the 5 love languages, I recommend that as well. And I would say just go work on those things. And if you need to see a therapist, definitely do that, because what you don't want to do is turn your lover into your psychiatrist or your counselor. And you don't want to become hers either, because when you do that, you kind of go into this codependent thing. But what you can do and what you do want to do is you want to address it as healthy and mature adults and say, this is this thing going on. I would like to work it out. What are your thoughts? Give me some feedback on your perspective of what's going on with me. I hope that's helpful. That's more of an advanced topic that I'll probably make a whole course on, or not a whole course on, but after the group coaching course that I have going on here, the Dating Fundamentals course, there will be a mastery level course where after you've found your perfect partner, or you are in a relationship, or you are married, how do you turn that into the next level and turn it into this big spiritual amazing thing that so few of us actually get to experience. So anyways, that's all I got for you, man. I hope this is helpful. I gave you a lot of tactics, and let us know in the Facebook group. Don't be anonymous. And just come out and ask. Come out and ask and let us know who what's going on and for feedback. I'm having a hard time with my words today for some reason. Anyways, that's all I got for you, man. Bye.